Putin is actually doing it. I didn't report on this before because I kept expecting it not to happen, like previous times that Trump has. You remember he was in the Middle East? He was like, yeah, I'll meet with Putin if Putin wants to meet. And then Putin said, I'll be there if Trump's there. And Trump said, I'll be there if Putin's there. And then neither of them were there. And he said, well, I didn't go because Putin didn't go. And Putin didn't go because Trump didn't go. And they didn't. So I thought that was going to happen again. But it seems there's actually going to be a summit. Putin's actually going to show up in Alaska and meet with Trump. And all of our fears here, and they are very substantiated because of the last few months of Trump's behavior, is that it's going to be another chance for Putin to play Trump. Trump was finally turning up the heat. And I'm worried all it's going to take is for them to go somewhere cold, and then Alaska, get it? And then he'll cool off. Meaning, Putin will pretend like he's serious about Trump, you're going to be the great peacemaker, and the same lack of peace will continue. But Trump will back off of his pressure. We'll see. After almost losing Trump, the New York Times reports, Putin gets his ideal summit. And this is talking about this upcoming week, what's happening in Alaska. Trump was asked, do you think Putin is just tapping you along still?
President, in the past, you said you would know if Putin was tapping you along. What gives you any confidence that he is or isn't doing that this time around?
Can't answer the question yet. I'll tell you in a matter of weeks, maybe less.
So that clip is, that one I think is from months ago. He has been saying, I can't tell you what I don't know. And then he finally set an actual deadline. And lo and behold, Putin goes, oh, what if we could meet? We could have a cool summit. And it's very likely that's going to be enough for Trump to again pull back on his more aggressive support for Ukraine and give Putin some giveaways, but maybe not. We'll see. The ABC reports Putin turns Trump's playbook against him in hours-long rambling calls. And this just goes through how during these phone calls, and I'm expecting that this will be similar to Trump's meeting with Putin, Putin just, in a rather disrespectful way, goes on these long rambles like we saw him do with Tucker Carlson, and just talks and talks and talks. So then they have a meeting, but nothing really comes of it because he's just giving the whole history of Russia, according to the White House sources who spoke to the Wall Street Journal. Putin rambles for hours during phone calls with Trump, leaving the president impatient and anxious to chime in. Trump himself has come to be known for rambling at length in interviews, so now that's what Putin was doing to him. We'll see if it's similar, but you might remember that Tucker did an interview with Putin, and this way that Putin handles such conversations really laid itself bare.
Still, they collaborated with Hitler and engaged together in the partitioning of Czechoslovakia.
But may I ask you, you're making the case that Ukraine, certainly parts of Ukraine, eastern Ukraine, is in effect Russia has been for hundreds of years. Why wouldn't you just take it when you became president 24 years ago? You have nuclear weapons, they don't. If it's actually your land, why did you wait so long?
Sure. I'll tell you. I'm coming to that. This briefing is coming to an end. It might be boring, but it explains many things.
I just don't know how it's relevant.
Good. Good. I'm so gratified that you appreciate that. Thank you. So, before World War II...
it was so embarrassing. And then he keeps going. I can't remember if it was how many hours the interview was, but the most of the entire interview was Tucker going, can you tell me, I know it's Russia, but why didn't you? And trying a little bit to do slightly oppositional questions, not really. And then Putin would go, all right, back to World War II. So, and then would lay out this whole history from his lens and draw it out, and you're not going to get to a substantive answer. And so the truth about what most likely will happen in this meeting, I'm not rooting against progress. I would love to see progress. But we've seen on these long rambling phone calls, what comes of them? Nothing. Putin will give these open-ended, I'll stop doing, let's do a partial ceasefire. Sure. And then he immediately violates it. And so it makes sense. Oh, wait. I have more Tucker clips. We'll get to Zelensky's response in a second. But Putin was even making fun of Tucker.
With the backing of whom?
With the backing of CIA, of course. The organization you wanted to join back in the day, as I understand. We should thank God they didn't let you in. Although, it is a serious organization. I understand. My former vis-a-vis in the sense that I served in the first main directorate, Soviet Union's intelligence service. They have always been our opponents. A job is a job.
No.
Look at Tucker's face. Oh. Backed by whom? You couldn't even get into the CIA, loser. Oh, all right, back to the history. But understanding the context here makes it make total sense that Zelensky, in preparation for this meeting, is saying Ukraine is ready for real decisions that can bring peace. Any decisions that are against us, any decisions that are without Ukraine, are at the same time decisions against peace. They will not achieve anything. These are stillborn decisions. They are unworkable decisions. And we all need real and genuine peace that people will respect. So there's something totally up. Zelensky's been making the demand, understandably, from the beginning here, every time Trump has floated the idea of a summit or has talked to Putin, that y'all aren't going to go somewhere else and decide the fate of Ukraine without Ukraine being a voice in that conversation. Fair. As we continue to do this, if you appreciate the show, totally free, but just support us algorithmically. You click the subscribe button, you'll get suggested videos more. And so we don't know for sure yet this week what the meeting's going to look like, but there's a really good chance there won't be any Ukrainian voice in the summit. And so he's again saying that's kind of a no-go. That's a deal breaker for me. And just as made Vance very unhappy and Trump very unhappy during that notorious Oval Office meeting, it actually has to be something that protects us with security guarantees in a lasting fashion. It can't just be, hey, we'll halt hostilities for the time being as Russia gets to recoup. That can't be the agreement just because Trump wants something on paper. And so we're kind of back to where we were before, where Trump is saying, actually, I think Putin might be interested in peace. Let's have a summit. Zelensky is going, okay, but just please don't be played like him, like so many other U.S. presidents and other world leaders have been. He will tell you what you want to hear, and you have to get something, either no deal or that actually protects us in a lasting way. Also, CNN reports a diplomatic scramble unfolded Saturday after President Donald Trump announced he would meet his Russian counterpart, Vladimir Putin, next week in Alaska, as European leaders rushed to understand the terms of the meeting and ensure Ukraine was not being left out of discussions about its future, which seems like it may be heading in that direction. Now, I did want to address kind of on the foreign policy, is Trump the great peacemaker? Obviously, MAGA will, in a silly way, say Trump has resolved 10 zillion wars already or something. But I don't want to ignore, despite me thinking he's messing up on almost every front, that there was an achievement here. Time magazine, President Donald Trump met with leaders of Azerbaijan and Armenia on Friday to sign a joint declaration aimed at ending nearly 4 decades of conflict between the two former Soviet states. Trump referred to it as a peace deal, includes a pact giving the U.S. exclusive rights to develop a transit route, etc., etc., etc. And this is good. I mean, this is a resolution of a conflict that has been going on a long time. Of course, like everything, Trump will say, I did this unilaterally and I'm amazing. And there's a bunch of U.S. diplomatic efforts that have been going on for years and years that kind of laid the groundwork for this and step by step. But I know the way we do it is the current presidents in power and they take credit for it. And hey, credit there. As always, it was kind of a strange meeting.
Steve Dane sitting right here. Thank you, Chris. Thank you very much. And Steve, thank you very much. And we have some other wonderful dignitaries, including the dignitaries from your country. But they provided tremendous diplomatic assistance. And Marco, congratulations. It's a big thing. Keep going. He got many jobs. And then, of course, you would say Steve was quite influential. I call him Henry Kissinger, who doesn't leak. For more than 35 years, Armenia and Azerbaijan have fought a bitter conflict that resulted in tremendous suffering for both nations. They suffered gravely for so many years. Many tried to find a resolution, including the European Union. The Russians worked very hard on it, never happened. Sleepy Joe Biden tried, but you know what happened there? He tried for probably 12 minutes and didn't work out. And many other countries tried, and they were unsuccessful, but with this...
So again, he is, as always, trying to wipe away the build-up to a moment like this and the efforts that had led to it, but whatever. They say I never give Trump credit. There we go. Good. That's a good development. I did it. Check. I'm trying. It's hard. Share your thoughts in the comments.